What's up, everybody? I'm so sorry for not making a video all month. I feel real bad about it. I'll own up to that. I fucked up. I intended to just take 1 week off, you know, first week in November, just chill out for a bit. I've had some personal stuff going on, so I really just wanted to kind of handle that stuff and then get back into it. So I took a week and then I got sick. Very similar to when I got sick in July and was basically shit-faced for a whole month. That really sucked. It wasn't fun, but I was shit-faced. I'm still kind of sick. The last 2 weeks were pretty much, it wasn't great. It's been real fun, gamers. Anyway, because of all that, the movies I did see, like all of them, I can't do it anymore. I can't do a video on them. I can't talk about how Kanye West lost his fucking mind because guess what? He's back. He's back. I can't do anything with that, and it's frustrating because I had a whole lot of plans. Like I said, it's been fun stuff, gamers. My whole fucking fun stuff. Anyway, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so this should be going up Thursday, I think. No, the day after. It'll be going up the day after. My vocal cords are mostly healed. Mostly. So I can sort of do this video, so that'll be real fun. And, enjoy. So let's get into this. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs came out last week. I checked it out on Netflix. It's by the Coen brothers. They make really good movies, generally. One of my favorite ones, actually, No Country for Old Men. It's also on Netflix, same as this one. So it's really worth seeing, in my opinion, because, well, I think everybody has Netflix, so it's essentially free. You know, it's like Amazon Prime. Oh, it's free, but you have to own it. So it's worth seeing, though, is my point.
Visit Amazon.com/Prime to see all benefits.
I don't know if you can hear that, but my Alexa in the other fucking room just picked up what I just fucking said. I don't even... What the fuck? Buster Scruggs is an anthology movie. That means it's kind of like Fargo, if you've seen Fargo. So each story in it is separate. It doesn't really connect to each other. There's no real overarching plot. It's just story, story, story. It's not that bad. There's a lot of anthology stuff that does it really well. Anthology isn't really my thing. I'll be honest. I'm not interested in anthology all that much. I thought Buster Scruggs was a whole movie. I thought it was just like, it's Buster Scruggs. That'll be neat, right? Buster Scruggs? No, it's an anthology movie. At the 19-minute mark, I was very, very confused what the fuck was happening in this movie. You guys asked for ASMR, by the way. That's why I'm kind of doing this. Yeah. That's good. I didn't like that. We're never going to do that again. Anyway, so the Ballad of Buster Scruggs has 6 parts. We've got part 1, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. 2, Near Algodones. 3, The Meal Ticket. 4, All Gold Canyon. 5, The Gal Got Rattled, and 6, The Mortal Remains. They each vary in length. Algodones was the shortest one, with The Girl That Got Rattled being the longest one. Algodones was, despite being the shortest, it is by no measure was it the worst one. It actually really benefited it to have a really tight runtime. You didn't have to deal with some of the ones where they just kind of ramble on. The Mortal Remains kind of does that. I don't want to spoil the way it goes, The Mortal Remains, because it's a pretty neat way to do a movie. Not a movie, it's like a segment, I don't know. An extended version of an SNL skit that's actually good for the first time in like, what, 12 years. It goes too long, which is kind of the issue with the runtime with this movie, and one of the issues I'll talk about a bit later on with why I didn't think it was like that great. But the shortness worked well for it, as well as James Franco, and he did his James Dean impression from when he did that movie where he was James Dean, so it was even better, and I really fucking liked it. I thought it was really, really good. And then you have the longer ones, which do make the 2-hour runtime 2 hours. The Girl That Got Rattled is like the longest one, I think, and it's really good. It's got a great story. I really liked it. And I really like the way Westerns go. And Westerns like this where the meat of it is the people, it's not the buildings, it's not the scenery, like sci-fi. You normally rely on the world a fair bit, like Blade Runner or Star Wars. You know, the world, at least in my case, like, let's take Star Wars. I believe Star Wars is far more about the world than the characters, because the characters live in the world, but the world itself is what we really care about at the end of the day. It's everybody trying to further a goal to save the world, not themselves necessarily. And there's bounty hunters and all that, but that's beside the point. My point is Westerns, I like it because it's character driven most of the time, and it feels, I want to say it feels more real, but that feels like I'm some sort of snob. Knowing the length of it, it's not that important, and really what's actually more important is knowing that it is separated into parts, which I think negatively affects it so fucking much. They chose to put it on Netflix because they didn't want to have a major release, and Coen Brothers, that's fine, you can do that. but you fucked up with the way you did this. All the stories, they work on their own. Connected, they don't really work. Now, it's an anthology, and it's a pretty bold way to do an anthology, like I said. It doesn't work in the end. The final product isn't that great. For me, I liked watching it, but I don't think everybody's gonna like watching that. It's 2 hours, and each part it doesn't really lead into the next. There's no like season theme. Like Stephen King, when he writes his stuff, he'll sometimes do like a season. So each one, it kind of just, it walks through it. It takes you calmly by the hand, and there's a overarching theme. The only overarching theme in this is fucking the West. It's the West. That's it. I don't think it's enough to really carry the whole weight of this movie. A good comparison is like The Last Jedi's Casino arc. Why the fuck does it exist? It doesn't... No, there's no necessary... It's needlessly convoluting things, and that's the way this works. The 6 parts are good, but... Well, some are good. But... it doesn't work together. It's so convoluted the way it goes from one to another. When I finished the first one, I was looking to the TV laughing my ass off saying, what the fuck just happened? Now, the Coen brothers were adamant they wanted it to be a movie. They wrote the script this way, they shot it this way. They never wanted it to be a 6-part miniseries. It 100% fucking should have. It doesn't work this way. You needed more similar themes. Actually, I don't, because I don't want that, because I liked the stories. As a movie, it doesn't work that well going from one to the next. The opening is 2 minutes of a fucking song. And then it's got this kind of like storybook intro to each single one, and it's a pretty neat way to do it. But it'd work better as a miniseries. It'd work a lot better. It'd work a lot better to have that as an intro, and then that as the outro. So you got that little page at the end, and it's like, oh. So I understand how the story works more. But they didn't fucking do that. They did. The individual pieces, though, are good, so if you do actually look up when each part starts, I recommend watching The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, The Mortal Remains, and The Gal That Got Rattled, as well as Near Algodones, the best ones. They're pretty easy to get through, pretty fun ones. The Mortal Remains is more if you kind of like, you like stuff that's set in the West. Like if you played Red Dead 2 Redemption, and you're like, hey, I want to get my cowboy fixed. That would be a neat one. That'd be a nice one, because you can kind of be like, yeah, I wonder if this is the type of conversations they'd be having in my game when I'm just shooting people in the fucking face. It's good. It's very good. I recommend it, gamers. Piece by piece, the cinematography is very good. It's the Coen brothers. It's going to be good. No Country for Old Men has some of my favorite scenes. It was one of the first few times where I was like, this is really fucking good. I like this. Just these shots, these camera shots just look so fucking good. And with this one, they do have some of that stuff. One of the first scenes, which actually blew me away, was it was CGI. And I don't really understand why they do that. Don't replace CGI with real stuff if you don't have the right fucking time. George Lucas tried it, and he lost his entire franchise of Star Wars movies. Don't be George Lucas. The other thing is there's like some full-on fucking CGI scenes in it, and they just don't really work in a Western. Like you go from outlandish to harrowing, and it's whatever you really want to do there, Coen brothers, obviously, but I wasn't a fan of it. The acting is all high caliber stuff. I didn't have an issue with anyone. I really like Liam Neeson, and I really like James Franco, specifically. Like I said, the movie looks really beautiful, though. I can't say enough how great some of the scenes look. The sunsets, the way they capture carriages moving, horses, all of it. The Coen brothers, they have a way of capturing the West very few other filmmakers are able to do. And I really like seeing it. I like seeing them really delve into that. Which is why I did watch this. I did enjoy it, but despite how impactful the way they do tell their stories most of the time, this one, it falls flat more than it actually hits. I wish they hadn't made this a movie. I wish they'd done it separated so I didn't feel like going from one to the other as an overall movie experience. It's bad. Story-wise, it's good. But as a movie experience, it's something I have to recommend to people. I don't recommend it. Another thing of note, like I said, it's long, it's artistic. It might become a cult classic movie, I wouldn't be surprised if it does, but right now, on Netflix, it's worthy of being critically acclaimed, yes, but it's not really something, like if you go to the theater and you're like, hey, I like Venom, and you want to see something else that's new, I wouldn't recommend going to Buster Scruggs. If you saw First Man and you were like, hey, I want to see something good too, I might recommend Buster Scruggs, but I really wouldn't, because at the same point, you just watched First Man, you're probably already pretty tired. However, Buster Scruggs is on Netflix, so it's essentially free since all of us have Netflix. so it's worth seeing. No Country for Old Men is worth seeing more than that, though. Overall, I give it an 8. The Coen brothers pulled out all of their fucking tricks and then some by using a digital camera, which they normally shoot on film, and you wouldn't think there's a lot of differences, but there are. So I do think that's, you know, if you're a big fan of the Coen brothers, it's worth watching, you know, that's worth seeing. However, I literally can't recommend this, and actually I would persuade you all not to see it unless you're really into 2-hour-long Western movies that have continuing plots that just end and then go to the next one. So I don't think most of you are really gonna want to watch that, so I can't recommend it. I do give it an 8 because I do think it is a really well-made movie, but it's not an enjoyable movie. And if it was, I'd give it, like, you know, a 9, because it still has some issues I wasn't exactly a fan of. Like I said, some of the stories are just, they don't fucking work together. Some of them are way too long, some of them are too short, some of them just, it is a unique take for the Coen brothers, and I applaud them, but I don't think it worked. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, but before you go, it's Friday, which means it's past Thanksgiving in America, or if you're in other parts of the world, it's already been Christmas time. So, go to my merch store. You can use code XMIS2018. You can get 15% off your whole fucking order. 15% off. There's literally never been a better time to buy merch and support my channel and make you look fucking cool this holiday season, you know. Get some Christmas pictures with your family. Make sure you're wearing a twat shirt. You know, represent. And they're all very, very goddamn comfortable, especially the hoodies. I have it on good authority. They're comfortable. They're the most comfortable things. There's probably more comfortable things, like kittens laying on top of you. But if this is the second best thing to kittens laying on top of you, well, why not fucking get it? So, the link is in the description below, as well as every other link you'd ever possibly need. And like I said, Xmas 2018, XMAS 2018, merch store, 15% off. It'll last from now until December 31st. Please, if you've ever wanted to, definitely take advantage of it now. They're very comfortable clothes. I'm very proud of it. I like the designs myself. I designed them myself, so I should. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this. I really appreciate it. Patrons, everybody. It means a whole fucking lot, past, present, everybody. I've got a lot of plans coming up. Next year, I want to do some pretty cool stuff. The podcast should be continuing too. I'm sorry that thing got fucked up. I talked about it a bit. Things went south. Anyway, I've got things in the woodwork. I cannot wait for you guys to see it, and I really appreciate you guys watching this. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.
A huge thank you to Patreon supporters Anonymous and Matt Porter. I really appreciate it.